Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, what a lovely Saturday evening it is. Oh, I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Get my shameless self-promotion out of the way here. All right. All right. Continuing on with my typical shameless self-promotion. All right. All right. Just another moment here. All right, here we are. All right. Tammy, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Little late night repair action tonight. It's gonna be great. Absolutely great. Just give a few minutes for some folks to get in here. Oh. Grab myself some hydration. Oh. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Stay hydrated. It's good for you. Ah, delicious. All right. So we got all kinds of fun stuff planned for the day. Oh. I appreciate it, Amar. Thank you, man. Yep, it's going to be a fun night. 5 PS5s, 4 HDMI ports, and a disk drive that I am struggling with. So maybe some of you lovely folks can assist me with that. But in the meantime, a lot of HDMI stuff tonight. I haven't streamed in a couple of weeks. I had some dental work done, a couple of root canals, things like that. So My mouth is still kind of recovering, but we doing the things, and we're going to continue to do the things. So just give a couple minutes, let some people get in here, and yeah, probably about 5-ish minutes or so, and from there we will get going because we got a lot to do. Matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, since you guys are here early, let's fix some stuff here. There we go. All right. Boom. Down cam is functional. It's a little off, but that's okay. Microscope. Okay. Now, while we're sitting here, let's do a little bit of prep work, shall we? Let's at least get these things ready. Oh, hello, kitty. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the benefit of doing this out of my house, is that I can just kind of work on it whenever. Obviously, I give my customers, yeah, I try to have everything done within 1 to 2 days. But, yeah, they also don't pay store prices when they come to me. So, checks and balances. Alright, so we're just going to prep a couple of HDMI ports, make our lives easier down the road while we're waiting for people to get in here. There we go. Oh yeah, you pulled the first screw at 523. I mean, you're going to be pulling screws until 553. All the damn screws in this thing. All right. Tin up a couple of these babies. All right. There we go. Number one. Number two. And number three. Perfect. There we go. All right. So we got our HDMI ports tinned up and ready to go. Give it about another minute or two. Let's let a couple more people jump in here, and about 45 seconds we'll get started because we got a lot to get through. So the first three are customer consoles, so I am going to knock those out first, just to make sure that we can have those ready to go for tomorrow morning. From there, we'll probably jump into the disk drive issue that I have. I feel like that's probably going to be the more important one as far as me, because the other HDMI job I have, it can't be fixed today, and I'll explain why once we get there. But the disk drive one is ready to go. It just needs to have the disk drive fixed. So If we can get the disk drive fixed, then I can resell it and give it its new home. So we'll go from there. But anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Alright, so first things first, we have our first HDMI. So let's just take a look here, see what we're working with. Alright, so you can see already that this plate right here is pushed back. It's covering up the pins. So that is absolutely out of whack. And let's tilt up the board. Let's take a look inside the port. Yeah, I mean, inside doesn't look too bad. Not terribly split. I mean, there's a tiny split right there at the bottom, just barely. But the pins look okay. And then, but when we get down here, we can see that that plate is pretty well pushed back. I mean, you can barely see the pins on here. All right, so let's get to work, shall we? We got a lot to get through. All right, so let's go ahead and get some flux down. I gotta clean my flux needle. Give me just a second. Let's get the flux needle cleaned up real quick here. Hello everybody just coming in. Lovely to see your faces, even though I can't see your faces. Alright. There we go. Flux needle is now cleaned out. Let's see if that fixes our problem. Well, it's certainly helping the problem. Ah, yeah, there we go. Alright, there we go. Get that flux in there. Come in with some leaded solder. And we're just going to mix in that leaded with the unleaded stuff that's already on the board. Just help the pins on this port melt down nice and easy. Alright, that's as far as I'm going to go with it because I'm already melting plastic. And that's just going to make things more difficult anyway. Alright, and we'll come in over here. Right, and we'll do the same thing on these legs. We're going to mix in our leaded solder with the unleaded that's already on the board. This will just help it flow much quicker and easier. And we're all about quick and easy. So you can see pretty quick that solder that's left on the iron should start melding in with the stuff on the board. Go. We're just going to hold that there for a minute so the solder can actually bind together. There we go. Beautiful. Go. Start to see it flow right there. We'll just add a bit more. And one last one. And there we go. That solder is nice and bonded. And we're going to make a couple of adjustments. Here we go. Come in with the hot air. And we're just going to make some lovely circles here. There we go. Just going to circle and distribute the heat evenly around the board. And now you see that solder is already going molten. And in just a few moments, that port should probably just fall right on out. Yep, already started. Now we'll just give it a nudge along the way, huh? There we go. Alright, and we're going to carefully come in with our solder sucker here. Say carefully because we don't want to get that diode if we can help it. There we go. And this one. Let's clean that up a little bit. Alright, we'll come in with some wick and clean up the rest of that. Timbo, good to see you, brother. Alright. Clean up some of that flux. And while the board is still indeed warm, where's my wick? There's my wick. I'm just going to come up here. Let's wick up some of this loose solder that came off here. There we go. Alright, now let's flip the board over. Alright, as you can see, nice clean. We got the bridge up there, but that's not a problem. Let's clean up some of this flux. Right, and same thing we did on the back side, we will do on the front side. Just going to come in here with the little bit of solder that's left on the iron. We're just going to mix in the leaded with the unleaded. We'll come in with our wick. Wick all that away, being careful not to touch that cap. There we go. And then put a little bit of fresh flux down. In fact, we'll get our ground holes ready to go as well. Do everything all at once. Just fixing the board a bit here. There we go. Alright, so the first thing we'll do is come up and tin these pads. we go. And then we're going to fill in our ground holes. Just let some of that solder sink down through the bottom. If it gets a little pointy, that's not a big deal. It's all going to melt through anyway. There we go. Got a nice little bubble on there. All right. Extra bit of bubble on there, and then come into this one. There we go. Alright, there we go. Nice shiny bubbles. Alright, there is way too much on flux on that board for my liking. I always put a bunch when I'm filling in the ground holes. It helps that solder flow down nice and evenly. But you don't need that much when you're putting on the actual port. So we're going to tidy that up real quick. Get that dirty used flux off of there so we can put down a little bit of fresh. There we go. Alright, and then when I'm doing the actual flowing, I just put a little bit in between right here and right here. And then just a tiny little strip right across the pads. Just a tiny little bit. Don't need much. We're going to take one of our ports that we tinned earlier, get that ready to go, and let the fun begin. So my hot air station is set at 480, full 99% airflow, and we're just going to use the drop method on this port. So we're going to heat from underneath. Again, moving the hot air around, making sure no one part of the board gets hot more than the other, at least to start off with. And you should see that ground hole solder get nice and hot in just a moment here. Yep, there it goes. Right, there we go. And then we're going to take our port and we're going to gently put it into place. If it wants to go into place. There we go. So that's not fully in place, but it is somewhat in place. There we go. And you can see that already that solder has started to bond to the legs underneath it. So we're going to keep the air there for a minute, still moving it around, and you'll see that solder climbing through those legs. That's what you want to see. There you go. See how it's popping into place like that? That's what you want. That's how you know that it's actually bonded. Go. We got all that good solder in there, so we're going to move it into place. We're going to go ahead and put some pressure down on the top. We're going to move the heat away. We're going to keep that pressure on there until that solder solidifies. Typically, once the hot air station turns off, that solder has solidified, but I always like to give it an extra 5 or 10 seconds just to make sure. Alright, there we go. And again, while the board is hot, I'm going to clean up any residual flux. right. And we'll flip the board over. You'll see we got some residual flux over here as well. So we're going to take care of that. Alright, so you can see right here that there wasn't quite enough solder when it was joining up with the pad. So we're going to put just a tiny bit of flux, and we're going to come in with our iron. We're going to top it off. Come in there, drop a little extra solder on there. Doesn't need much, just enough to give it that nice shine. Right. We'll come in with a little bit of IPA. Give it a good scrub. Alright, there we go. Those are beautiful solder joints on the bottom. Okay, and you know what, let's go ahead and flip this board the other way so we can do our test. Now, I'm already pretty confident that these are going to be absolutely beautiful solder joints on the legs, but we always check to be sure. Let's go ahead and clean up a little bit. Where's my toothbrush? There we go. Alright, there we go. Let's get that hair out of there. Alright, so those look gorgeous, but to be 100% sure, we're going to come in as soon as I can find my my pokey tweezers, my test the HDMI tweezers that I only use for testing the HDMI. This is not them, but it will do. Alright, so we're going to come in here. I'm just going to put a little gentle pressure on each of these legs. Make sure it's not moving anywhere. Nope. These are all solid. Out of the way. Let's get my hand out of the way and then check 19. Yeah, that's about how it goes, Salad. Good to see you, buddy. Alright, so you can see those are all super solid. No need to go over any of the pins. Those are all perfectly solid. You can see on these legs, if you focus in a bit here, the solders come all the way through from the bottom side. Same thing over here. Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful things. Alright. Go ahead and pop her into the chassis real quick. Into the chassis she goes. Now obviously for stream purposes I'm not going to be putting these back together while I'm on stream. Nobody wants to watch 45 minutes of, you know, screws going into every possible angle. So we're just going to test them and make sure they display, and once they do, bada bing, bada boom, we move on to the next one. Alright, so here we go. Now, I already disassembled all 3 boards, so we're not going to have to go through the whole process of unscrewing everybody and doing all that. I already took care of that before I started the stream, because you guys don't want to see that. And honestly, I wouldn't want to either. So, we're not going to bother with that. Alright. And let's bring you guys over here. Alright. So we're going to plug everything in. I'm going to put a power cord in. And we're going to put our HDMI in. And we're going to turn her on. Alright. So far, so good. There we go. Beautiful, crystal clear. Gotta love it. All right. I'm just waiting for this to come back to my screen so I can actually see you guys. All right. So, HDMI job number 1, easy as pie. Beautiful thing. So we're just going to move that to the side. Jump right in to number 2. Right. Okay, number 2. So this one, you can see the back of the port looks like how it's supposed to look. There is plenty of leg space available there. You can actually see the legs. However, if we lift the board, we can see a whole lot of nothing now. We can see, let's pull up a little bit here. There we go. Now that is way busted at the bottom. It is separated completely at the bottom. So if it's not connected, it's not going to display. So, oh, and actually you can kind of see, well, unless I'm looking at something different. Almost looks like one of those, that right pin there is pretty messed up as well. But either way, we're going to put a new one on. Alright. So same thing as before. We're going to clean my flux needle real quick, because this thing loves to get clogged. Alright. There we go. Man, this thing is really clogged. Alright, well, I mean, that's fine for now, but I gotta clear this clog real quick. Sorry, guys, give me a second. Alright. Hopefully that fixes the fog. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit extra out. Okay. Don't let flux go to waste. Alright, and we'll do the same thing we did previously. Just clean the iron real quick. And drop on some leaded solder onto the iron. And just come right in here. And let the flux do its job in getting all that leaded solder onto those legs. Doesn't matter if they're bridged right now, we're going to fix it. There we go, that'll do. Flip the board. That is not factory solder. I think this has been worked on previously. I don't think that's factory. That's interesting, to say the least. Okay, well. Alright. Go. Same thing, just put a little fresh leaded in there, mix all that stuff together. All that stuff bonds. Mix all that leaded and unleaded together. Lowers the melting temperature of the solder. There we go. Get it all nice and bonded. We're gonna make it work. There we go. Actually, I think I just pushed the leg out a little bit. But it is definitely bonded. That's one way to tell for sure. Alright. Same thing, 480, 99%. Circles. I'd say probably about 3, 2, 1. Oh, this one's being difficult. Alright. Oh, there it goes. Just kind of hanging out. And we'll just give it a little nudge. And it just falls out. Alright. Same thing as before. Very carefully. You don't want to suck up that diode. Oh, got 2-for-1 special on that one. That's beautiful. All right. Same thing while the board is hot. You come in and clean up this flux. All right, flip the board. Get rid of that flux. Put a little bit of new flux. Take some of the leftover solder on the iron. And mixy. And then come in with the wick. Just pull all that away. There we go. Alright. Out with the old flux. In with the new flux. This flux needle does not want to cooperate. This flux needle is killing me right now. Killing me. Alright, there we go. Boop. Come in with more leaded solder. So the first thing is these babies right here. Right. That'll do. And come in. Get these ground holes filled. Alright, so when it gets all pointy like that, what we can do is come in with some fresh flux. There we go. No more pointy. Beautiful solder balls. That's fine if those are bridged up a little bit. We're going to put a little extra on there. There we go. And put a little extra on there. There we go. Come back in with the cotton bud. That's way too much flux. That flux is going to get all up in the HDMI connector, and you do not want that. So we clean up the old flux. come in with just a little dab right here, a little drag across right here, and a little dab right there. That's all you need. Take another one of our tin ports from earlier. Heat it up nice and evenly. There we go. We got all that solder pulling through. Come in with our port. Drop it right into place. I don't like how that top right one looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some additional flux on there. And that'll just help that solder flow all the way through to the bottom. And what we can also do, because these legs on the port itself are cold in comparison to some of the other ones, so we're going to move them around a little bit. So you can see that solder on the top left there is climbing all the way up that leg. That's what we want. There we go, filling in those gaps, and then we put it back into position. And again, we're going to come in from the top, apply a light amount of pressure, and remove the heat. Oh, almost lost my grip on the port. You got to be careful. There you go. Alright, there we are. And same thing as before, while the board is nice and warm, come in and clean up any of this residual flux. And we'll come back with some alcohol in just a second. We're going to flip the board. Same thing over here. Get all this nastiness up. Alright, and those solder joints look absolutely beautiful. Alright, so we'll come in with some alcohol now. There we go. And come back in over here. You can see there's a bunch of little built-up flux down on those legs. Come in with a toothbrush and just get all that up. You also clean inside the port with the toothbrush in case some of the flux got in there. Like I said, you do not want flux in your HDMI connector. It will cause no display issues and you will feel like you have done something wrong. Because in fact you have. There we go. That's much cleaner. Now this one we're not going to do the nudge test on, because we did it on the first one. And I have done so many of these now that I know that this is going to be fine. So, to prove it, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So we're going to put this right in here. Let's move those cables out of the way. Plug up our LED ribbon cable, our front board ribbon cable, and our power button cable. Trick, you bastard. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Trust me, after the horrible loss that the Dolphins took on Thursday, I didn't want to be, okay? I didn't want to be. But here we are, nonetheless. We're doing the things. All right. And so now we are... I have 5 viewers, guys. 5. The 5 of us are hanging hard. Alright, there we go. So power's in. HDMI's in. Let's hear the beep. Beep. Swap. Of course, it's got to do the repair, but that is display. Alright, so we have display. We're just waiting for the 3 beeps. Let's hear the 3 beeps. There it is. There we go. So that's number 2. We got one more customer board to do, so we'll knock that out real quick. It's just another HDMI port, and then we'll jump into this disk drive, and maybe you guys can help me figure out stuff. Because I don't know, something is wrong, and I don't know what it is, and I'm losing my mind. All right, so that is number 2. Ugh. Hydration break. Stay hydrated, very important. Delicious. All right. And here we have number 3. And number 3 has been severely pushed back. You cannot see any of the pins, which means I am not going to be able to get this done with leaded solder. I hate this design of HDMI port. I don't know why they did this. It's terrible. But these push back so often. So we're not even going to bother with the other side. we're just going to go right to the back. There we go. Right to the back. There we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Get all nice and mushy. Get mushy. Once again, I appreciate everybody hanging out. It is lovely to see your faces on this lovely Saturday evening. Alright, and boom. There we go. This one might take a little longer because the pads on the ones that are still connected to the HDMI port, or the motherboard I should say, are not mixed with leaded, so this might take a little bit longer. Then again, maybe not. Boop. Alright, just give it a boop. And we come in here and again, very carefully. I think that's just flux in there, actually. We'll give it a quick pop anyway. There we go. Beautiful thing. Alright. What are we thinking? You think I got torn traces on the other side from that push back HDMI port? Do we have torn traces? Any guesses on torn traces? You hope so. Of course you do, Trick. God damn it. It's all 19. Alright, let's find out. Nope, not a single one. Haha. It did lose the cap though, and unfortunately I do not have a replacement for that. Obviously if we've done these before, you know that cap is not important. It will still work absolutely fine without that cap. I just wish I had them because I like to keep it factory as often as possible. But that will not be the case this time. Oh. Alright. Get some more flux on here, or more solder on here. I'll tell you what, the solder that's on there, that leaded stuff, is super, super brittle. Like, you can feel it scraping against the iron, which is very uncomfortable. Yeah, lucky indeed. I thought for sure there'd be at least one. Alright, there we go. Got those all tinned up. A pin. Oh, there might have been a pin stuck on there. Maybe that's why it felt so brittle. That could be. Alright. Clean up dirty flux. That's what happens when you don't clean it off soon enough. It gets sticky and nasty. Alright. Well, I'm almost out of my very first spool of solder. This is the so just real quick. I bought this spool of solder when I first started working on these. That was about 2 years ago, maybe a little over a year and a half, something like that. No, under 2 years, about a year and a half. And this is I'm finally running out of the first spool that I ever bought. Crazy how time goes. Alright, again, just gotta fill in these ground legs some. Get that little blob out of there. Trying to leave a little extra blob on that one there. There we go. A little extra blob. Just for that one. Alright. And one final swab of the old. Get rid of the way too much excess that I use. Just a little bit. Grab our last port that we tinned earlier. And here we go. make some adjustments real quick. There we go. All right. Solder's starting to liquefy. Alright, so we should be good now. Come in with the port. There we go. There we go. Solder's starting to creep up that leg a bit. There we go, almost fully there. Yep, there we go, we're good. So we're going to come in, pressure on. All right, there we go. Give it a little clean. All right, there we go. We'll flip over the other side. Hello, my kitty. Are you saying hi? Alright, those joints look beautiful. What are you doing up there? Pause a moment. You must all appreciate the kitty. Hello, kitty. Meow. It's very nice. You'll say hi to everybody? No. Here's your baby. Hello. Alright, kitty breaks over. Yeah. Clean up with some alcohol. Come back to the other side of the board. lot of nastiness. We're going to take care of that. Some alcohol and a toothbrush. There we go. Looking beautiful. Okay. Now, before we put this one back together, this customer did ask for a liquid metal service. So we are going to give them a liquid metal service. As you can see, there's a pretty bad dry spot right up there in the corner. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that for them. So we'll take an alcohol covered cotton swab. We're going to move all the liquid metal over to one side. Alright, and we're going to come in and just give it a good hard clean. Not too much pressure, obviously. Don't want to damage the APU. But we do want to clean up as much of that oxidization as we can. Alright, let's grab a little extra alcohol and see if we can't clean up this area right here. Alright, so that'll do for now. And I do have a previous cotton swab that I was using on a different job that still has some liquid metal on it. So we're going to come in and use that liquid metal to start the bonding process. There we go. Alright, that is 10 times better already. You know, Trick, you're not wrong. Thermal paste will never do the job. You're absolutely wrong. And you know it, and you love making my life difficult, and I appreciate you for it. Alright. And we're going to come do the same thing on this before we put it back together, because that's just a step that I'm going to have to do anyway. Come gather all this up. Again, we're going to come in here and clean up as much of that oxidation as possible. Okay, and then same thing here. Use some of that old liquid metal to help the new stuff bond. Just move this up here. Make sure we're getting as much of that die covered as we can. There we go. So now that's all shiny and new. The corners still look dry. Oh, okay, hang on. Let's take a look. Ah, so they are. Good catch, my friend. Very good catch. Alright, let's get that fixed up. There we go. There we go. Boy, that did not want to work, did it? Well, we got it. Alright, let's get this one up here. Alright, there we go. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Alright. So now that we've got that, we will tidy up this the rest of this chassis right here, because there is a little bit of liquid metal spread out. Just take some alcohol, kind of pull everything up right in the corner there, and just tidy up a little bit. Alright, take a picture for the customer real quick. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got that done, let's move this out of the way. Alright, everything back in its place. Ribbon cables in. Right, and number 2. Okay, and back up to my beautiful face. Swap you guys to screen again, and let's get power. The beep of magic. Yep. Oh, it's restarting. Don't worry, it's restarting. Everything's fine. And there we go. Oh, you know, it's going to give me, yep, it's going to give me this message. I don't have a controller on hand. God damn it. Alright, I'm going to have to pull the power cord. I hate doing that. It's fine. It is what it is. Alright, there we go. There's 3 HDMI ports for 3 very, very happy customers. Alright, so now that we've gotten the customers' boards out of the way, we can work on some of my personal projects. Starting with this disk drive that I have been having trouble with. I have to open this up. Give me just a moment here. All right. Oh, here is the PS5 I've been working on. Why is this PS5 in a giant trash bag, you may ask? Who wants to take a guess why this PS5 is in a giant trash bag? We did indeed have some visitors. We sure did. Allow me to show you the extent of said visitors. Oh. No, you don't. Let's put you somewhere safer. There we go. Let's take a look at the extent of our visitors, shall we? Well, actually, the microscope may give you a better look at it. Hang on. Yeah. We had some visitors. Yep. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's real nice for me. Look at all that deliciousness. So, I bought this on eBay for $225 because it was an HDMI port repair. I said, sweet. HDMI port, fix that, flip it, make a profit, no problem. And then I opened it up, and then I saw we had visitors. Fun. However, the visitors have been taken care of. The HDMI port job was done. And then I ran into a problem where at first I could not get the disk drive to power on at all. There was no power to it. Now I've got power to it simply by switching the positioning of the ribbon cable and the power cable, just reversing it. That's all it was. And now let's go ahead and give it some power real quick. Beep. So now I've got power to the disk drive, so the console will turn on with the disk drive power button. Oh no, are we back to the problem again? Okay, just kidding. Okay, hold on. I have fixed this before. Oh wait, it might not actually turn it on without a disk. Hang on. That could be my problem as well. Hold up. I could be dumb. That's an Xbox disc. Where's my PlayStation test disc? Here we go. PlayStation test disc. We're going to test it with Sonic Colors. I'm going to clean it up a little bit before we do anything. Alright, so if we attempt to put a disc in, I'm sure you guys will be able to pick this up if it takes it. We get that. That's what happens with that. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn the console off, first of all. Yeah, exactly. It's not a fun time. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to shut the console off. We're going to take the power cord out. We're going to disconnect the... Yeah, and I don't know which it is the problem. So that's where I'm going to kind of rely on your guys' help a little bit. We're going to take the power cord out. I'm going to bring this microscope over as best I can. And we're going to try and work on this together because I can't figure out which one it is. So let's pull this out. Pull this out. I'm going to try and get the microscope over here. Okay. Alright, so we've got those out. Everybody gets to enjoy my delicious mess here. Okay. So, we're going to take the top portion off for just a moment here. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's a whole process to this. Alright, so we're gonna disconnect ribbon cable, undo this power cord. Alright, so I'm trying to keep this as minimal as possible because I don't want to have to go back and reconnect a bunch of stuff. Okay, so what I'm thinking is getting stuck is the gear inside. So we are going to have to disassemble it further, I think. Okay, with that we should be able to remove this top plate. go. Okay. So, like I said, I think the gear that's getting stuck Alright, I'm going to have to move this onto the desk. Hang on. Let's move some of this over. Okay. Alright, let's move this off to the side. So let's get the microscope in here and try and get a decent down view of what we're looking at here. Okay. So I'm thinking that it's well, obviously it's a gear on this side somewhere. Well, I noticed that this gear is not making contact with anything, and I feel like it's supposed to. Let's go ahead and pop these out real quick. Where's my pliers? That's what I have them for. Okay. We take this out. Okay. Oh, you guys can't see much of anything. Sorry about that. All right. So I feel like what's supposed to happen is this gear goes into this part of the disk drive and is supposed to make contact with this gear. So it slides this way just fine. Oh, that's why I wasn't making contact. Okay, because it wasn't down. It wasn't prepared properly. Okay. Alright, so now the gear is at least making contact. Alright, so all the gears are making contact now. Plastic screw to move the mechanism manually. A plastic screw. Let's see here. Well, the first thing I want to check for while I'm here is to see if any of the teeth look damaged at all. I mean, they look okay. Should be a plastic screw somewhere to move the mechanism manually. I might have to take the whole thing out if that's the case. Well, hell with it. Let's take the whole thing out. Well, if we're going to do that, let's take the board out and actually disassemble this thing. Yeah, we'll just disassemble the whole thing. Okay. Take the board out. And from there, we can pop this little security tab off, move the board. Okay, so from here I have to be super careful. We're going to take out these 4 screws on the top. Yeah, no, okay. Now I see what you're talking about. Okay. Well, I mean, it seems to be in place now. I found that screw you were talking about. It's the one that manually removes the discs. Okay, well, I mean, everything seems to be in place now. It moved pretty freely. Alright, well, let's give it a test now that all the gears are put back into place and such. So we're going to come down a little bit here. Alright. Put our screws back in. Okay, and grab our board. Oh, actually, can't grab our board yet. Gotta reinstall the security tab here. Okay, now that that's in place, we can safely install our board. Okay. There we go. Reattach our ribbon cable like so. Need my tweezers. All right. This last ribbon cable is always a pain in the ass. Okay. There we go. Good enough. Cables are all plugged in properly. Yeah, that was the one I was looking at. Okay, so I was able to move it back and forth successfully. So, let's see how successfully, shall we? Just going to put in 2 of these screws here. All right. Let's see what we can do, shall we? Okay. So, okay. All right. So, let's now see. All right, so we've got it plugged in. Let's put power back in. Let's make sure we still get the 3 beeps. Nope. Did not get the 3 beeps that time. This is the problem I ran into last time, I believe. Hang on. Yep. I have now broke it. But let us not be dissuaded. For I have run into this problem previously. Nope. Alright, well now we're back to the original issue, in that it just beeps. It does not give me the 3 beeps. Okay. So we're going to do what we did previously, and we're going to reverse the cables. Okay, so we're going to reverse the power cable. Okay. Nope. Now we're back to the same issue previously. Alright, so we're going to hold it down, we're going to shut the power off, and we're going to see if putting a disc in will power it on. Okay, now it's not wanting to do anything at all. It's not even shutting down. We're just going to pull the power cord. Okay. Alright, power's back in. And nothing. It does not even take the disc in at this point. So, what do we do? I do have a spare disk drive. We can try to put the spare disk drive in and see if we have any better luck. Let's try that. Let's try that indeed. All right. You think so? You know what? It's easy and it can't hurt anything. Let's try that. Let's do that. All right. All right. So let's start with these. Where are my tweezers? Where is my super suit? Okay. So we'll start with these ribbon cables here. Let's just have a quick look at them. Alright, so the little tab on this side over here is broken, damaged, but it should still be making a good enough connection. Let's just check this one. Yeah, it's a little bit dirty, but again, it should be making a connection. But we'll take some alcohol and a Q-tip, and we'll give it the old heave-ho. Just come in here. Okay, and same thing on this side. Okay. Alright, so there's that. And then let's open up the disk drive again. And let's clean up all those ribbon cables. Right. Okay. Okay, there we go. So let's come back in with the microscope. Move this off to the side for a moment. Oh, I'll stretch my knee out real quick because I'm getting old as shit. Alright. And where are my goddamn tweezers? Swear to God, it's always something. Okay. So we'll start with this little baby ribbon cable over here. It looks okay. Clean off the laser ribbon cable. Hey, Booter, good to see you, bud. Yeah, no, I'm not taking the whole thing apart just yet. Right now, I'm just cleaning off the ribbon cables where they connect into the board. I don't know where you joined in at, but the problem I'm having initially was that there was a gear grinding in the disk drive. I somewhat fixed that problem in that now it will not take a disk in at all. It's as if there's no power. Okay, so this sits this way. Sorry, I'm just making sure I had the ribbon cable plugged in correctly. Lord knows I've done that wrong before. Okay, so if it sits like this, that plugs in that way. Which means this should plug in facing. Oh, you know what? I might have had the ribbon cable in wrong. I might have had it reversed. Yeah, I think that actually is what the problem was. I think I had the ribbon cable reversed. Oh, I'm gonna feel like a big dummy if that's the case. Alright, well the ribbon cables have all been cleaned. So, let's see if I'm a big dummy. Alright, so first things first, This gets put in. Seated nice and properly. Okay. Go. And I am once again asking you where my tweezers are. Okay. So that is all connected up proper now. Tell you what, I'm not even going to screw it in properly yet. We're just going to test it first. Oh, I've never heard of the Vectrex. What's that, bud? Oh. Okay. CRT. God damn, I ain't heard that in a long time. Alright. So, we got to plug back up. I don't have it fully put back together. But let's see if it'll at least take a disc to power on now. It does. But we're having the same problem. Okay, so interesting. Check the bottom plate that the pin is in the hole. Which pin are we talking about here, bud? Because what I'm about to do is I'm about to take this bottom plate off. No, it's trying to pull it in a tiny bit. It could be one of the bigger gears inside. tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and just remove this completely. Oh, the one on the inside. Okay. Well, here, now that we've got this open, maybe we can get a better idea of what exactly is causing this issue. So if I try to put this in, now it doesn't take it in at all. Is it designed to not do it with the back plate off? See the oval hole? Is there a pin in it? Hang on. Well, the not sensing it is one problem completely. The left white circle has an oval hole to the left side. Okay. Let's pull the microscope over and we can take a look to be more sure. Well, it was just sensing it a second ago, so I'm assuming... Alright, so this is the leftmost hole, or the leftmost circle. Which pin am I looking for? That circle has a long oval hole, okay? Yes, right here. Take the plate off, alright? Wait a minute. I think I see what you're talking about. Okay, so hang on. Let me try and get a little closer. Ugh. So you're saying, what I think you're saying is that this pin right here is supposed to be in this oval hole. This little plastic pin right here is supposed to be in here. Okay. Well, hopefully that's an easy fix. Well, let's go ahead and just disconnect the power from it real quick. Oh, we can shut the console down as well. Okay. Well, that is definitely the next task. Okay. Console is powered down. Okay. So let's remove this top plate again, or this bottom plate, I should say. Okay, there we go. So there is the white plastic pin. Okay, so I see what you're talking about now. That little pin right there. Okay. So what I need to do is make sure that that pin, let's go ahead and alright, so what I'm going to do first, this is now in the almost most forward position. Okay, so this is now in the most forward position it can be. We're going to bring it back here. Okay, alright, so that is now alright, so now we have white plastic pin inside of oval hole. Alright. Booter, if this is all that was wrong with this the entire time, I'm going to find some kind of emoji that expresses my appreciation. I don't know what it is yet, but it's coming, my friend. I've been trying to fix this thing for weeks. Again, I don't want to put it all back together just yet. I just want to put it back enough to test. Okay, so we plug in the ribbon cable. We plug in the data cable. We plug in the power cord. And do we have a functional disk drive? God damn it. Let's find out. Now it will not pull it in at all. It turned on okay, but it won't pull the damn thing in. Not one thing, it's a fucking another. Yeah. Now it won't even take it in. Okay. We're making progress. It's not great progress, but it's progress. Alright. So I think what I'm going to do is go back in there, reseat the ribbon cables one more time. And then this time actually put it together properly. Yeah, power ribbon's definitely plugged in. But I'm gonna take everything apart. I'm gonna reinstall everything properly this time. But I was just trying to do it enough to test, and that apparently was not the move. Okay. Alright, let's do this properly. No, because it was trying to pull it in before. When it was doing the gear stuck, it was trying to pull the disc in. Now it's not. It's like it's not recognizing that there's anything there at all. So, yeah, I think it's probably one of the ribbon cables might have came loose. I'm going to check that first, and then we can double check fuses and everything like that, because I did already check fuses once before. Okay, so what we're going to do here. Okay. For the sake of argument, I do have another disc. Oh, you guys can't see a damn thing I'm doing. Sorry. I appreciate it, Booter. Thank you, man. For the sake of argument, I do have a alternate disk drive here. So to eliminate the possibility, what I'll do is I'll replace the ribbon. I'll replace the ribbon cable on this into this one, and that's for the, I guess, sensing the disc is in there. That would be my guess, because this is the ribbon laser. This goes to yeah, because this is supposed to push open and then trip these sensors. When a disc gets put in there, let me just make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Disc gets put in, yeah, so it moves that, and that's what triggers it to open. Okay. So, let's replace this ribbon cable, just to be on the safe side. Alright, I'm going to have to pull the whole damn thing out now, because it is not wanting to go in. Fantastic. All just to replace one ribbon cable. Ridiculous. No, the motor's a different cable. So this is the laser cable. I believe this is the motor cable. This is the power. Okay. Again, all that to replace one ribbon cable. Okay. Sorry, just doing a bit of testing. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm almost positive it is. Well, no, because remember the motor was working previously. It was just the gear was getting stuck, but it wasn't. Now it's not sensing that there's a disc. So I think replacing just that one cable is probably fine. I mean, if this doesn't work, then what I might end up doing is just putting the whole goddamn disk drive in there and calling it a day. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm trying to get this damn screw in here, and this magnetic screwdriver of mine is being a royal pain in the ass about it. Okay. Okay. There we go. So now we're back. New ribbon cable in tow. Honestly, the next step is probably to replace this board completely. I do have the spare one from the donor disk drive. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm on this last pain in the ass ribbon cable. Okay. Alright, so I have now replaced that ribbon cable. Alright. So ribbon cable is now replaced for that sensor. Oh, would help if it had power. Let's put power in it. Yeah, still nothing. Okay. I'm just going to pull the power cord. Here's what we're going to do. Time to swap out the disk drive. Okay, so we are going to swap out the entire disk drive. And when I say the disk drive, I mean the inner mechanism of the disk drive, because the replacement disk drive that I have, the whole assembly, is not the correct one. So I'm just going to take the inside, and I'm going to put it inside this housing, and we're going to go from there. Alright, so we're going to pop out this whole assembly right here. We're going to take this whole assembly right here. We are going to do a test like this. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, it could very well be that, again, this thing was roach infested, so it's certainly possible that some of the ribbon cables are shot. Alright. New disk drive is installed. Oh, internally broken. Yeah, that's definitely possible. That would make sense, honestly. Okay. So now, new disk drive is fully installed. Okay. Does new disk drive take disk in? Well, not new. Does donor disk drive take disk in? New one does not accept it either. Well, it's remarried. It's got the same motherboard in it. I've got the 3 beeps this time. Well, nope. This one has... Yeah, this one's got something screwed up with it too. What the fuck is happening with my goddamn disk drives? Oh, Lord. Alright. Okay, well, this one has a different problem now. This one has a problem where this black piece is not moving all the way. And I believe it has unseated from where it's supposed to be. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Okay, that should move freely. Okay, well, looks like we'll be taking this one off as well, because it seems like something is stuck. Alright, so the problem we're having now is that this is not moving the way it's supposed to. So you're supposed to be able to push it here, but it'll come back on its own. It's not coming back on its own. So we're going to take this plate off. There we go. There we go. Okay. I found it. There was a small tab on the back that wasn't pushed in all the way. So now, yep, there we go. Okay. Okay. Now that that problem is fixed. Okay. Let's put a power cord in. Three beeps. No, it's not. It's still not taking it. This is a completely different disk drive with different ribbon cables. Okay, so two different disk drives with two different issues, or with two different sets of ribbon cables. Yes, you can manually take a disk in just fine. Yeah. Yeah, the problem is I don't have another one of these ribbon cables to test. These are the, it's the 033 board, and the ribbon cables that go to this are actually smaller than the regular ribbon cables, and I don't think I have another set. Oh, maybe I lied. Maybe I do have another one. Okay. Well, this is why I keep stuff around. Never know when I'm going to need something. Hopefully. Yeah, if I can get it to work, then that is probably going to be the case. Go. Okay. No, not those cables. Suppose we can check the disk drive motherboard. Ah. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to take the whole damn thing out, and I did not want to do that. All right. Okay. Move that off to the side for the moment. All right. Let's just check the connector for any visual damage. I mean, the pins look okay. Yeah, the pins look fine. So this one's ground. That is ground. Okay. Check diode mode. Alright, so I've got 0.58 voltage drop on that one. I've got open line over here, which is concerning because that leads directly to a resistor. I got 58 on the same side across from it. 57, and then this is going to be ground. Yeah. So I have 0.58 voltage drop on this side of the connector, but on the same side, or on the same pin on the opposite side, I have nothing. I have open loop. And I don't think that's supposed to be the case. I feel like it should have the same voltage drop across either side. Let's go in resistance mode. Let's check this resistor. Got 10 ohms on that resistor. That seems reasonable. Let's check that trace. Follow it along to F501. Okay. Diode mode again. So I've got 0.65 voltage drop there, 0.65 voltage drop there, 0.65 voltage drop there. That all runs on that same trace where that resistor is. Let's see here. Now this F501 would indicate to me that there's a fuse somewhere. Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's not shorted. got 0.53 voltage drop, which again seems reasonable. I mean, there's only so many things on this damn connector, or this board. That's just gunk. Let's flip the board over. There's even less components on this side. I'm just going to be checking around for shorts until I find something or don't, but I'm going to cut the stream here soon because I'm getting tired and I still got to put customers' consoles together. yeah, I don't see anything wrong. Yep, I am at a loss. I do not know what the hell is going on with this thing. But it is getting late, and I have to put the rest of these customers' consoles together. So I'm going to call it a night here. Maybe we'll come back to this. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. In the meanwhile, I'm going to get the rest of these customers' consoles put back together and get them ready to pick up tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be back next week, and we can try to figure this out some more. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you. I love you all dearly. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful rest of the night and a great morning, and I will see you next week.